Yo, dot.
America, a land of promise. Yet beneath its shining facade, a darkness festers. From the genocide of Native Americans to the horrors of slavery, America's past is stained with the blood of innocents. These acts of barbarity were woven into the fabric of our nation's founding. This legacy of violence continues to haunt us today. It manifests in systemic racism, economic inequality, and the erosion of human rights. These are the stories of cannibalism, organ harvesting, and the dark hunger that consumes us all. There are whispers in the dark corners of our nation, rumors of a hidden world where human life is traded like a commodity. These whispers speak of human trafficking, organ harvesting, and something far more sinister, the consumption of human flesh. The demand for organs is a global crisis, fueling a gruesome black market. Mysterious disappearances and strange occurrences point to a terrifying possibility. The whispers in the dark are a warning, challenging us to confront the monsters within us all. The snow-covered peaks of the Sierra Nevada stand as silent witnesses to a tragedy that has haunted the American psyche for centuries. The Donner Party, trapped in the wilderness during the brutal winter of 1846, faced an unimaginable choice: succumb to starvation or consume the flesh of the deceased. The story of the Donner Party is a chilling reminder of the fragility of human civilization. Driven to the brink of madness by hunger and despair, these pioneers crossed a line that few can comprehend. The details recorded in Patrick Breen's diary paint a gruesome picture of survival cannibalism. But what happens when such acts are not driven by necessity, but by something far more sinister? While survival cannibalism shocks the conscience, it pales in comparison to those who engage in cannibalism for pleasure or power. Throughout history, there have been chilling accounts of ritualistic cannibalism. The Aztecs, for example, practiced it on a massive scale, intertwining it with their religious beliefs. Beyond ancient civilizations, modern cases of cannibalism, often driven by mental illness, capture the public imagination. Serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer remind us that the monsters of our nightmares are real. These acts fuel our darkest fears about human cruelty. The thought of cannibalism in our modern society might seem unfathomable, but what if the truth is far more unsettling? What if the consumption of human flesh is happening right now, hidden in plain sight? Some believe a clandestine network of individuals engages in cannibalism as a form of extreme taboo indulgence. These individuals, often wealthy and powerful, gather in secret societies or online forums. While concrete evidence is scarce, the rumors persist, fueled by whispers on the dark web. The line between fiction and reality can be terrifyingly thin. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people vanish without a trace. Behind each photograph is a story, a life left unfinished, a family torn apart by unanswered questions. While some disappearances are solved, many remain shrouded in mystery. The sheer scale of the problem suggests something more sinister at play. The faces staring back at us are not just numbers. They are individuals whose dreams and aspirations were cut short. Their disappearance leaves behind a void, a ripple effect of grief and uncertainty. The human body has become a commodity in the shadows of the global economy. The demand for organs has given rise to a lucrative and horrifying black market. Organs are harvested from the desperate and vulnerable, their bodies treated as spare parts. This illicit trade operates across borders, profiting from the suffering of others. The victims, often lured with promises of a better life, find themselves trapped in a nightmare. The global nature of this trade makes it incredibly difficult to combat. Beyond the organ trade, there are whispers of something even more sinister. A market where the human body itself is the commodity, consumed not for sustenance but for something far more depraved. These whispers speak of clandestine gatherings where wealthy elites indulge in the ultimate taboo. The evidence is often anecdotal, but the rumors persist. The line between the unthinkable and the real can be terrifyingly thin. Could the consumption of human flesh be taking place in the shadows of our civilized world? Adrenochrome between myth and madness. Derived from the oxidation of adrenaline, adrenochrome has been at the center of chilling speculation for decades. Rumors of its euphoric and age-defying properties have fueled a mythology, intertwining shadowy elites and ritualistic practices. Despite these tantalizing glimpses, the scientific community remains skeptical. Critics argue that the adrenochrome myth is perpetuated by misinformation and sensationalism. Yet the myth persists, exploiting our deepest fears about the safety of children and the hidden machinations of power. The enigma of lab-grown flesh. A culinary Pandora's box, scientists are growing meat in petri dishes, promising to revolutionize the way we consume meat. However, this technology raises unsettling questions about the nature of food and the potential for unintended consequences. Proponents argue it offers a solution to ethical and environmental challenges. Yet the prospect of consuming lab-grown flesh raises ethical concerns and questions about long-term health effects. If we can grow animal flesh in a lab, what is to prevent us from growing human flesh? Section 3. The price of life. When humanity becomes a commodity, what is the value of a human life? In a profit-driven world, individuals are often reduced to their economic worth. The organ trade thrives on desperation and greed, reducing people to vessels of valuable parts. This trade preys on the vulnerable, often in poverty or marginalized communities. Human trafficking extends this commodification, treating people as objects for profit. Victims endure abuse, stripped of dignity and freedom, leaving lasting trauma. The commodification of human life erodes our shared humanity and values. A descent into darkness. The commodification of human life represents a profound moral failing. It is a descent into darkness, a gradual erosion of empathy. This erosion begins subtly, a slow drip of desensitization. We become accustomed to seeing the human body objectified. This desensitization makes it easier to distance ourselves from victims. We create mental barriers, convincing ourselves these atrocities happen elsewhere. This erosion of empathy paves the way for indifference. It is a slow poison that numbs our hearts and dims our shared humanity. Section 2. The bystander effect. Silence in the face of atrocity. The horrors of human trafficking, organ harvesting, and the commodification of human life persist not only because of the perpetrators of these crimes, but also because of the silence of those who witness them, the bystanders who choose to look away, to remain silent, and to convince themselves that it is not their problem. The bystander effect, a well-documented psychological phenomenon, describes the tendency for individuals to be less likely to intervene in an emergency situation when other people are present. This diffusion of responsibility creates a collective paralysis, as each individual assumes that someone else will take action, that they are not personally obligated to get involved. This same dynamic plays out on a societal level when it comes to the issue of human exploitation. We are aware of the problem, we see the headlines, we hear the statistics, but we convince ourselves that someone else is taking care of it, that the authorities are handling it, that it is not our place to interfere. This silence is deafening. It allows the perpetrators of these crimes to operate with impunity, knowing that their actions are unlikely to be challenged. It perpetuates a culture of indifference, where the suffering of others is seen as an unfortunate reality, an unavoidable byproduct of a complex world, and it makes each and every one of us complicit in the perpetuation of these atrocities. Section 3. Reclaiming our humanity, a call to action. The darkness that threatens to engulf us is not insurmountable. We have the power to reclaim our humanity and stand up against injustice. This begins with a conscious effort to cultivate empathy and resist desensitization. We must seek stories of hope and remind ourselves of our shared humanity, challenge the bystander effect and embrace our responsibility to act. Speak out against injustice and support organizations combating exploitation. The future of our humanity depends on it. Section 1. Rise against the darkness. The horrors we have uncovered, cannibalism, organ trafficking, the commodification of human life, thrive in the shadows. They fester in silence. But we will not be silent, we will not be complicit, we will not stand idly by while our fellow human beings are exploited, abused, and consumed. The time has come to rise against the darkness. This is a call to action, a rallying cry for those who refuse to accept a world where human life is treated as a commodity. We must shine a light on the darkest corners of our society, expose the perpetrators of these atrocities, and dismantle the systems that allow them to flourish. It is a call to awareness, to education, to action. This fight begins with awareness. Educate yourself about the realities of human trafficking, organ harvesting, and the commodification of human life. Share this knowledge with others. Break the silence. Support organizations working tirelessly to combat these atrocities. Donate your time, your resources, your voice. Demand justice for the victims, accountability from the perpetrators, and an end to the systems that enable these horrors to persist. We are at a crossroads. The path forward is clear. We must choose to stand on the side of humanity, to fight for a world where every human life is valued, where dignity is inviolable, and where the darkness is banished by the light of our collective compassion and action. Section 1. A world to defend. This journey into the heart of darkness has been harrowing. We have confronted the unspeakable, the potential for human beings to prey upon one another, to treat flesh and blood as commodities, to consume lives in the pursuit of power, profit, or perverse pleasure. The shadows we have explored are not easily forgotten. They linger, a chilling reminder of the fragility of civilization, the ever-present potential for humanity to regress into savagery. We cannot unsee what we have learned, the whispers of cannibalism, the grim reality of organ trafficking, the commodification of human life. These horrors are not figments of a fevered imagination. They are realities that exist in the shadows of our world, fueled by greed, indifference, and the darkest impulses of the human heart. But we cannot allow despair to consume us. We must remember that even in the darkest of times, hope endures. For every act of cruelty, there are countless acts of kindness, compassion, and selflessness. There are individuals and organizations working tirelessly to combat human trafficking, to provide support for survivors, to dismantle the systems that allow these atrocities to flourish. They are the beacons of light in the darkness, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. We are at a crossroads. The choices we make, the actions we take, will determine the course of our future. We can choose to look away, to retreat into complacency and allow the darkness to spread. Or we can choose to stand up, to speak out, to fight for a world where every human life is valued, where dignity is inviolable, and where the shadows of exploitation and consumption are banished by the light of justice, compassion, and a shared commitment to our common humanity. The world we create will be a reflection of the choices we make today. Let us choose wisely. Let us choose hope. Let us choose to defend a world worthy of the name.
Oh. Come.